We're out in the garden, and yes, I do need to do some weeding, but I just wanted to give an update that the potatoes have sprouted. These are the russets. You can see that they're starting to pop out of the hay. These back here are the purple majesties, I believe they're called. And then over here are the Yukons. None of the Yukons have popped up yet. And this, I believe, is a blackberry plant, because if you look over here, we have a wild blackberry plant growing right there, and then I believe somewhere around here, yeah, got another one popping up right there, and another one right over here. So we're gonna see if we can trellis those over there, but then we also have some over here on the pump house, so we also want to trellis them here. That way we can have a couple different areas where we have wild blackberries growing and hopefully giving us some nice fruit. Back over to the garden, and the bunching onions are still doing good. The Tango Red is still doing all right. The regular green Tango is doing, so-so. Kind of interesting how sparsely it was spread. I made sure to get it really even in the rows, but that's how it goes sometimes. The kale, just not really doing all that good, but it's still coming up. The spinach is looking awesome right now. You can see that the leaves are really healthy and beautiful looking. It's really cool to see. Same with the arugula. The arugula is looking great. Getting a little bit of pests here and there, but that's all right. It's a no pesticide organic garden after all, so that may happen. The carrots are starting to grow over here in the overflow. The actual carrot section here, we're doing great. They are pretty much all starting to sprout. And then check out these Brussels sprouts, man. These guys are taking off. Now, obviously, I will have to cull them at some point, but for now, it's still doing good. They're still doing good. Coming back here, you can see the Swiss chard just doing incredible as always. And then the onions, slowly but surely, starting to come up. And also kind of weird. That kind of looks like a carrot sprout. I don't know. But anyways, garden's going well. I need to do some weeding, but yeah, very nice. Having ourselves another burn pile. Got to get rid of it. Out with Sven, keeping an eye on the burn pile as it continues to go down. Didn't do too much filming because I wanted to make sure that I was working and getting it all done. Since we got a break in the weather, we're going to see if we could help these blackberries out and get them growing a little bit nicer than they currently are. You can see that this vine is making its way up this rake, and it was only probably about here 2 days ago, so it's grown quite a bit. And then you could also see that down here next to the pump house, we have quite a few little sprouts coming up. So we're going to just run some electric fence wire all the way across the length. I got a 1/4 mile of, I believe, 14 gauge. Yep, 14 gauge wire, and then 4 T-posts. We're going to do 2 rows, see how that works, and yeah, amend it next year if we need to. You can see that we have the T-posts driven in and that they're at a pretty good angle. And the reason we did that is so as the berries grow and get some weight to them, hopefully they won't droop too bad. But we'll see on that. I'm just hopeful that we get some berries in general. Next up, we're going to string up the wire. I'm going to cut that to length and see if we could get that nice and tight across these T-posts. hopefully in a couple months these wires will be covered in beautiful blackberries. That's the hope after all. We're starting to get some really good sprouts from the potatoes, as well as some blackberries over here as well. But because we're getting sprouts from these guys, I'm going to cover them up with some more hay and allow them to continue to grow. You can see some of the russets have been growing over here, and these are the Yukon Golds, I believe, that are starting to pop up. So we're going to rebury them, get them covered up. Taking another load of firewood home with Greta the big bitch. Going up a hill. Getting the good old Mason 1500 or Craftsman YT 3000, whichever you want to call it, ready to cut grass here around the property this summer. And we're replacing all the blades because they were a little worse for wear. And it is a 46-inch cut, so we have the two blades here, and we're going to get to replacing them. The other side was really, really tough to get off, so I just kind of had to hold the, I guess they're called pulleys, I think they're pulleys. Had to hold the pulley to make sure that it wouldn't spin, just really wrench on that thing, but got them both off. Let's get to replacing them. Now this side was giving me a whole lot of problems earlier, so hopefully it goes all right this time. There we go. She's got some new teeth. Now the next problem we're facing is all four tires are flat. Now I kind of have a setup for how I'm going to do this. The front two tires I know will hold air. They are totally fine. They just got a little flat over the winter. Now the rear tires, they have been a little bit flat, especially this side over here. So I'm not too sure how well they're going to hold air. So I want to make sure that the day that I'm going to cut is when I fill those tires up. That way, if there is a little bit of a puncture that needs to be patched, I can at least get my mowing done before I need to get that patch done. So since the front is jacked up now, we're going to take off the front tires first. Then we're going to, like I said, pump up the rear tires when it's time to go and cut. So I'm going to show you how we take these tires off because it's kind of simple, but if you don't know the trick, it can be a little tough. So this is the front tire, and behind this little rubber cover, which is a pain to get off, by the way, you can note this pretty tough C-clip. Now typically C-clips are really easy to get off. This one takes a little bit of work. Typically I just use 2 flathead screwdrivers, but we're going to use what I have out here right now. And basically all it is you put one screwdriver or one object on one side, one on the other, and with any luck, when pressing down, it'll pop out. Just like that. Now you want to make sure that you retain the washers, or spacers in this case I believe, I don't really know. And then, just like that, out pops the tire. Again, remember to keep any spacers or washers, and remember the orientation. Time to go fill this thing up. Now that the C-clips are off the front tires and they can go get filled up with some air, the only thing we have to do now is replace the battery. You can see I already took it out, that way I can go get the core refund and get a new battery here next time I run to town. And hopefully once the battery is replaced, that mower will be up and running and we could go start mowing this property. So the battery has been replaced. The tank has been filled, and we're just going to see if it'll start up. Now, I have to sit on here in order for it to start up properly, I think. We're just going to see after a winter of setting if she'll start to turn over. Oh yeah, she wants to go. Let's hop on here, see if she'll turn over. You need some ether. I'm gonna give it another shot without the ether. I think she's pretty close. Let's see. Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. And you can see that once I step off, the kill switch engages and kills the motor. So that's awesome. We are up and running. It's time to get all the tires inflated, and then I think we're gonna mow tomorrow, which is Friday, so that's gonna come in next video. But yeah, very, very excited. We took all 4 tires off. That way tomorrow morning I could go straight to the gas station to get them filled up with air. Unfortunately, I don't have an air compressor, so I have to drive in and get them filled, but no matter, we will be mowing tomorrow. Doing a quick garden update before we go. Just wanted to show that these potatoes are sprouting up out of the hay just a couple days after they were recovered. And that is a very, very good sign. I'm really happy to see that. Because after all, this was a bit of an experiment. I've seen a lot of people cover potatoes with hay with a Ruth Stout method, but that typically means that you leave the hay out over the winter to kind of degrade a little bit and get good and ready to compost down. This fresh hay, though, seems to be doing okay, and I'm very, very happy to see that. We will be harvesting the arugula and spinach here probably within a day or two because it's getting pretty close, getting a little warm. And yeah, lettuce, still doing good. Need to do some weeding like always, but like I said in the first garden video, we're going to have some problems with weeds.